Dear colleagues, we are happy to welcome you in our meeting related to individual educational trajectories. I would like to introduce to you Head of Educational Department, Dr. Marenko. She will open our meeting with the first words.
Dear students, together with team of developers, I want to introduce to you an innovative method of educational in medicine, individual educational trajectories. Key features of this approach is that from now, students can choose and construct their own educational tracks. During discipline of choice development process, we selected practical-oriented courses provided by best specialists in different areas. Each year, we'll decide what discipline of choice more interesting for you and will be most useful for your future career. So in the end of 6 years, you will have a unique set of skills and knowledge in addition to core program disciplines. Let's take a look. Choose now individual educational trajectories will be provided to you.
So, готовы?
Себя ты представил?
Colleagues, my name is Dmitry, my surname is Vikon. I'm one of the participants of developer team that decided how individual trajectories will look like in our medical academy. So let's take a look about key features of individual educational trajectories. Individual educational trajectories is the personal way of learning and developing new skills based on strategy adopted by person to achieve personal long-term goals. When we were developing individual educational trajectories, we asked ourselves, what would be modern medicine looks like in 10-15 years? And we decided to share this decision together with you. Ask yourself, whom I will be in 10-15 years? What kind of skills I'll have to get a successful practice. Maybe I will be a therapist who uses medical passport for everyday practice in therapy of patients. Maybe I will be a surgeon who can use autocells in patients for better post-operative period. Maybe I will be an oncologist who use personalized target therapy. Or maybe you understand that modern governors of medicine are not so good as you wish, and you want to change modern medicine in the way you think it would be better. Maybe you'll become a head of the department, or maybe director of the hospital, or even minister of health, who knows. For this purpose, we developed skills and trajectories for you. Let's take a look what was before and what now. In previous years, all the educational part was obligatory for you. Students were not having any kind of option to choose. Nowadays, we've left the core disciplines as an obligatory part. It will consist of 80% of whole educational plan, and we put it 20% for variable part, what you can choose. Let's take a look closer about variable part. Here you can see that we created several trajectories: obstetrics and gynecology, therapy, and surgery. Their main goal is to focus and in-depthening of your skills in disciplines you know well, and you will pass in 6 courses. Also, we decided to add some additional trajectories that will give you plus skills to your basic knowledge. For example, genetics and immunology. You know that without genetics, modern medicine is impossible. We hope that inventions in genetics will be able to be used in practice. Medical rehabilitation, one of the modern trends of development of medicine. That's why there is one more track. And COVID-19 showed that it's hard to govern medicine in extraordinary situations. That's why we need strong leaders that can make decisions and take the responsibility for them. That's why School of Healthcare Leaders was developed. As you can see, in each year, you will be able to make a choice. Here we can see 3 students, and they're confused about individual educational trajectories. Let's take a look what kind of options they can choose. We draw 3 passes: green, red, and yellow. So, as you can see, first student who chose the green path decided to become a specialist in School of Healthcare Leaders. And all 5 years, he chose disciplines that were directed to development of skills in healthcare management. Another student who chose the yellow path decided to check different trajectories and different classes in obstetrics and gynecology, therapy and surgery. Why not? Maybe he will be a specialist with broad types of skills. And the last one, the red one, started from genetics and immunology, gained some skills. After that, switched to obstetric and gynae. During education, you can understand. It may happen that you will understand that, for example, genetics is not so interesting for you, but obs and gynae is the best choice for you. So you can shift anytime to a new trajectory and learn new disciplines. So, for now, you are on the stage of preparation to individual educational trajectories. You will learn how to make a choice. It's a challenge and skills you'll need in future education. So, first course, first semester, you are studying and you are studying basics of project management. There you choose team, you choose the topics, you choose the way of interaction. On second semester, you will make two choices. One, first choice between basics of practical genetics and big data in biology. Second choice, you will choose the options, the doctor professional communicational skills or history of medicine. So, on second course, we will provide you another disciplines of choice. Here you can see the set of topics possible, and you see that it can be a bit changed because we are trying to adapt educational program to the modern requests. But I'd like to underline key features that's really important. As soon as you will choose the discipline, it will be added to your studying plan, and it will become essential for you to pass it because it will be added into your diploma. In case you will fail, you will be expelled. So take serious about the choice. Information about time, place, and options of choice will be given to you in official website of Medical Academy in our VK group called Pro Education. And as soon we will share the links with you through Dean's office. And please sign to our VK group because it will be a channel of direct communication of educational department and international medical faculty students. So please, we need your feedback because best options of development of education in communication, close communication of students and educational department. Registration on elective courses and your choice will be made on Moodle platform, and after the meeting we will add PDF file with direct instructions what to do, how to choose. Anyway, if you have questions, you can ask in the Pro Education group. We'll try to answer as soon as possible. Here are the QR codes that will help you to join our groups and our addresses. Make a screenshot, but anyway, we will share it also with your vice dean, so you'll get this information. Let's continue. Interesting and complicated choice. You're on the first course, and as you can see, you're only in the very beginning of interesting path of construction your diploma. So for now, choice is quite simple between two disciplines in bioethics department or in biology department. In future, the list will be expanded, and you will have variety of options. So, one more time, why do you need it? First thing is to get more practice. We know that modern doctors can't exist without practical skills. That's why we elected the best teachers that provide better practical experience. Also, one of the benefits is that you will have a broad set of different skills and knowledges in different directions of medical knowledge and different medical disciplines. From that point of view, you'll become more interested and successful on labor markets and private hospitals, will want you as a participant of the educational process. So we hope that you will choose best options for you, and together we will create a best educational trajectories for you. So in the end, I would like to wish you good luck because you are in the beginning of a very interesting path. We will try to pass this path together with you. So,
Теперь давайте кто-то сюда.
я им покажу, запись же, наверное, будет.
Первый Big Data, да? Там видео идет. Я генетика. Hello students, someone of you know me, I'm your teacher, I'm teacher of biology department, and together with it I'm a teacher of big data course. This is a new course of our department. And in this in next video, in promo, you will see what is a big data, what you will do on these classes, on our classes, and on lectures. But I tell you what we will do by our hands. We will make a little neural network and teach it to recognize the data, to work with this data. And we learn together with our neural network how to work with big data. That is all from my speech, and now you watch a video, a promo of big data, please.
Greetings, dear students. Let me introduce the elective course Big Data in Biology from our Department of Medical Biology. Our course teaches Ageyeva Elizabeth Sergeyevna, Doctor of Medical Science, Associate Professor, Head of the Department of Medical Biology, and Trofimov Nazar Sergeyevich, Assistant of the Department of Medical Biology. What this course is about. In modern world in general and in medicine in particular, we use the information obtained from medical tests, research, examination during the operation of devices, analyses, and all kinds of sensors. The amount of information requiring analysis is increasing daily. Availability, usability, the ability to process data, as well as the security of their use, data quality control are essential for the processing of effective management of data. Global research in the field of biology, medicine, and genetics obtain data on the genome, proteome, metabolome is based on the results of large-scale research. All this is also included in the concept of big data. All this radically changes our understanding of the decision-making model, understanding and using them in practice, and even more so in the practice of a doctor. Early this was simply not possible. Within the framework of this course, it is planned to consider in detail the mechanism of gene expression in a eukaryotic cell, the stages of protein-based synthesis from the standpoint of modern science and modern methods of determining proteins in biological samples. The constant accumulation and analysis of large amount of data allows you to create models with which you can conduct experiments to obtain results with high specific value. Already today, the use of big data management technology is in great demand in medicine and related fields. The analysis is expected to significantly increase life expectancy in the future. Uh, what is the purpose of studying this course? The course is studying the discipline big data, meaning big data in biology and medicine, is to acquaint student with the technologies of accumulation, analysis, and use of big medical data. Course objectives: define basic term. Second, to give an idea of in what areas of medicine activity this will be in demand. There are large volumes of information about the patients will allow specifics to conduct personalized treatment. And third, get acquainted with databases and the basic principles of working with them, how to study the properties of objects and make probabilities predictions. Course structure. The structure has a traditional structure and consists of lectures and practical lessons or practical classes. The format of the lessons: there are 4 lessons in time of 12 hours, seminar of discussion. 5 lessons, there are 15 hours. This is a practical classes. The topics of the course are presented by such section as proteomics and genomics, as well as information of gene polymorphism. Theoretical knowledge of databases, verify them, what they are for, and how to use their content for applied work. As an example, let's make a look to the Watson system, which is the IBM Big Data platform. Let's support all this with practical skills, work in the primary application design, and CBI gene bank DELSA gene pool designate to search for markers of the human genome, as well as to analyze and store information obtained during research. An interesting part of this course will be to try to act as a researcher yourself, to perform part of the research methods, process the result, and try to interpret them. Research method that students can perform independently: work with genomic chromosome maps, analysis on NCBI gene bank clusters, selection and optimization of polymerase chain reaction, condition, it's meaning search for primers, work in the primer application design, risk calculation to determine the development of disease, gene polymorphism, and checking, and skills in working with online IBM Big Data database. It's meaning gene. Course topic: definition of big data storage technologies, big data analysis processes, scientific problem in the field of big data, artificial neural networks, network analysis, optimization, genetic algorithms, forecasting and forecasting in biochemical processes, statistical information processing programs. And we try to create our very little, but I hope useful, neural network to use our class.
Our department is practical genetics. On classes of practical genetics, you will work with karyograms, with ideograms, with real material and with real protein diseases, and leading teachers who work in laboratories. and watch a promo to know what about this course.
Greetings, dear students. Department of Medical Biology introduce to your attention a fundamental of practical genetics, a new discipline. Will work with you a course leader, Ageva Elizabeth Sergeyevna, a doctor of philosophy doctor, associate professor, and she's the head of our biology department, medical biology department, and will work with you teacher.
Greetings, dear students. Department of Medical Biology introduce to your attention a fundamental of practical genetics, a new discipline. Will work with you a course leader, Ageva Elizabeth Sergeyevna, a doctor of philosophy doctor, associate professor, and she's the head of our biology department, medical biology department, and will work with you teacher, Zhukova Anne Alexandrovna. She is a philosophy doctor of biology, and she is associate professor too, and she is associate professor of medical biology department. Let's talk about course information. Genetics is a science that studies the mechanism of heredity and variability. This course contributes to a deeper understanding of the laws of heredity and variability, the mechanism of the genetic apparatus. Passing the course will increase the interest, desire of students to study fundamental and practical medical disciplines, where knowledge of genetics will be in demand. The course content includes a number of issues that the studies in modern medical and biological sciences, for example, the prevention and modern diagnosis of hereditary diseases, the solution of medical problems about genetic, engineering, etc. The course has a great practical focus. At the very first stages, this is a study of the gene expression production. Also, in the course, students will independently determine bar bodies, work with human metaphase plate, etc. Purpose of the course. The purpose of studying the discipline Fundamental and Practical Genetics is an in-depth study of genetic analysis, molecular genetics, focused on practical skills. Objectives. First, this is learning the basic methods of genetic analysis, and second, get acquainted with the method of processing the result obtained, areas of practical application. Course structure. The course has a traditional structure and consists of 4 lectures and 9 practical classes. Format of these practical classes will be 4 lessons, 12 hours, there are seminar discussions, and 5 lessons, 15 hours. You will get a practical skills. An important part of the course is the opportunity to independently perform research methods, working with metaphase plate, obtaining preparation from the buccal epithelium for subsequent analysis, evaluation the results of the polymerase chain reaction, analyzing the nature of inheritance of genetic tails. Course topics. The course topics include classes devoted to the study of the nomenclature and mechanisms of inheritance of human traits, the calculation of inheritance probabilities, DNA extraction, restriction analysis, and polymerase chain reaction. With you will work 2 teams, and these teams will work with you in real case histories and real metaphase plates, and only one correct solution. Human heredity diseases, classification diagnosis, human chromosomal diseases. You will work with a molecular basis of hereditary DNA diagnosis, its meaning polymerase chain reaction. human molecular diseases, multifactorial diseases, non-Mendelian inheritance, human blood groups and their inheritance.
Теперь
Okay, so the knowledge trajectories which have been mentioned to you, that's the healthcare links. And I guess type of the starting of this trajectory related to the courses which can be presented by the department which called history or medicine and bioethics. So that is why we are trying to get two disciplines which are correlated with these trajectories and which you can select as the second semester individual choice at your first year of education. The first discipline is based on the idea that the tradition of the communications and type of the communications is the base form of the way of introducing the specialist. So that is why it's called the physician's professional communication, so doctor's professional communication. It's very influential topic. It's very related to the practice course, because for the future doctors, for the future physician, it's important to understand the place at the communicational level and the way how the communicational skills supposed to be developed. So that is why the main idea of this course, which you can choose, which is called once more physicians or doctoral professional communications, it's to understand the aim of the vision, the aim of the types of the communications which are related to the contemporary world. As we had discussed at our classes on the strategic and the project management, you have seen that the way of communication is related with the goals of the development of your personal choice and the goals of development of the general institutions which you are presenting. So that is why this course will train you to learn to study that factors which influence the positive, so-called positive communication. Positive means, in our sense, in the sense of the modernity, the way that all parts of the communication levels, all the recipients of the communication, all the recipients of the information, will give the positive view on the certain way, that the certain ideas of the development. So it includes also the need to communicate, need to the types of the communication inside the colleagues. You remember, we have been talking about the professional community, and the way of the communication of the professional community is important for the personal development. The second part, the second way, the second sphere of this course is, of course, to train you the way of the communication between the physician or the doctor and the patient. It's important because the conflict resolutions which we are facing at the modernity, which we are facing at the way of the communication, supposed to be studied and supposed to get the positive way of resolving this conflict. So that is why the basis, the ground for the development of this course were related with the suffering and resolving the conflict and the conflict resolution as the part of the communicational skills which you will train during this course. You will also learn in the active forms the means of communications, which can be stated as the verbal with help of the words, with help of the modern types of the communication, like digital communication, and also unverbal, because it's not just the verbal communication is going, it's also unverbal, with help of the gestures, with help of the looks, with help of the facial expressions and intonation. It's the practical part, which includes 6 practical sessions of our course, which is called Doctor's Professional Communication, will be related to train these types of the skills of activity which can be used for the making the communication itself, and to create the type of the communicational skills for resolving the conflict. The way of behavior during the communication, it's also important to be trained from the early beginning of your study. Because as it was mentioned by the trajectory, one of the trajectories is the healthcare leaders, and it's important at the leadership itself to make the communicational skills which resolve the main vision of the development of a certain institution, and also the development of the certain way of the communication which you can provide as a future professional. So that's why at your first year of education you can use this physician's professional communication discipline as the basis for your further development, the basis of the further development of this trajectory. So that is why the 6 practical classes which we will use during this disciplines will also make the examination of your future destiny, the future vision of your vision and the communication skills with the colleagues. So that's fine. That's our first course, which is called, once more, Physicians Profession Communication.
The Department of History of Medicine and Bioethics invites you to the course Professional Communications of a Doctor, the purpose of which is to form the communicative competence of future doctors. It is the ability to establish and maintain the necessary contacts with other people. Course Curator Professor Yulia Sugrobova. The course instructors are Igor Yevtushkin, Svetoslav Katerusha, Gennady Kaushliev, Andrei Ivanchenko, Yulia Dorofei. We will introduce you to the behavioral patterns of a doctor with patients, with his relatives, work colleagues, the concept professional image of a doctor, with the specific of professional medical communication. You will learn about the factors that contribute to positive communication and its barriers, about verbal and not verbal ways of communication, about empathy skills, intercultural tolerance, and the personal component of a doctor's characteristics. Separately, the course highlights the topic of conflict from the main types, stage of development, causes of occurrence to the prevention of conflict situations, and management culture of conflict, interaction, and the professional activity of a doctor. We call you learn to communicate so that the patient trusts the doctor's word and follows the doctor's recommendations for recovery. But even Avicenna said, we do not treat diseases. We treat people suffering from illnesses. Welcome to the course Professional Communications of a Doctor.
That was the first discipline, which was called Physician Professional Communication, and the second discipline, with second title, it's the History of Medicine itself. As you remember, while we were talking about the bioethics and the classes of the project management, the receiving of the knowledge has different historical stages. And these historical stages, it's also the basement for the development of the contemporary medicine. And such a vision of the stages, such a vision of different eras in the development of the medicine itself, we're going to start it at the history of medicine. Because this type of the providing you the knowledge with the constructs, with the forms of the modern types of the medicine will be based on the development of the stages, of the historical stages of the medicine. This type of the communication, this type of the constructions of the modern medicine has the basement of the different stages. We will look forward for the development of the medicine of the different historical stages. Like in ancient East and antiquity, it's important to start it because it's the basement for the vision of the medicine. The way how the healing were developed at the different stages of the different historical levels. And of course, the presentation, the vision of the medicine, which were based on the philosophical attraction of the Eastern philosophy, Indian, Chinese, and also the Islamic influence to the modern type of the development of the medicine, will be started by you, and with the help of the stages, with the help of these historical stages, you will make the picture. And this picture is actually the way how to understand the future development of the medicine. This picture give you the historical background for different stages, for the different types of the development of the science itself. The most important layer of this course is that you will study the patterns of healing and medicine in different areas and in different regions of the world. It will help you to make the comparative analysis of such a development. It will help you to make the skills for your further development of this trajectory which you will choose at the future. And these trajectories will also help you to understand the way how the formation of different types of the medical skills were developed. The history of medicine course consists of 8 lectures and 6 practical sessions, which will cover the main stages of the development of the medicine. And such a vision that of the connection between the history and the medicine will give you the background, the reason why we are studying, for example, the history of the modernity, the history of Russia. Because the social development will lead you to understand the way how the medicine were developed and will be developed in the future. This social way of attraction will also help you make the basement for your future trajectory as the healthcare leaders. Because the leadership itself in the history of medicine played an important role as the stage of the formation of the science itself. During this course, you will have 3 control points which have the basement on the first 2 at the Moodle base, and the third will be your personal choice presentation, which help you to understand deeper and increase your knowledge in the certain field which you will choose. Of course, there are a lot of expressions concerning the history of medicine and concerning the types of the medical development which were based on the different areas, different regions. And of course, I want to underline you 2 of these quotes. First of this quote is that Historia est magistra vitae. It means from that Latin that history is the teacher of the lifehood. This teacher of the lifehood also can be connected with the medicine, because the main protection, the main healing for the development of the healthcare give us the medicine. So that's why the history of medicine is the correlated of this main phrase. And also, what is important in the history of Russia, it's also the development of the surgery, which were based also on the historical events which happened also in Crimea during the so-called Crimean War. So that is why I also will mention one of the reasoning why we are getting to this course. That's correlation of your personal development with the development of the society, with the development of the local culture. It's also, we had underlined it during the practical classes. Also, one more quote, and you will see the promotional video. And this quote was made by the Russian scientist Sergei Botkin. The main thing, one who does not know the history of medicine cannot know its meaning, the end of the quote. So here is the main idea of the discipline itself. While you are studying the history of medicine, you are trying to understand the medicine as the major part of your life. So thank you for your choice of the course, which is called History of Medicine.
Department of History of Medicine and Bioethics invites you into the World Histories of Medicine. We will present to you the laws of the world historical process of the origin and development of healing and medicine from ancient times to the present, with the achievements of each era in the field of medicine. Lectures are given by Professor Yulia Sugrobova. Classes are taught by senior teachers Igor Yevtushkin, Gennady Kaushliev, Andrei Ivanchenko, Yulia Dorofei. You will learn about healing in primitive society, the origin of medicine in the civilizations of ancient East and antiquity. Get to know medieval and Renaissance medicine. You will learn about the great discoveries of the scientists of medicine of the New and New West times. The history of medicine is a link between all the disciplines studied in a medical institute. Who doesn't know the history of medicine? He will not be able to know its meaning. So said the great Russian doctor Sergei Petrovich Botkin. Welcome to the interesting world of the history of medicine.
So, dear colleagues, we are receiving feedback from you, and we are grateful for that, because we can establish dialogue despite of problems in the educational process. Yeah, so thank you for your requests. We will learn them, and we would like to answer a few questions that were asked in our chat. One of them, like, would you repeat online classes in campus? We would like to say that no, program is on the way of learning. So what you will learn right now online, you will take with you for the next courses, because when you arrive, you will have another classes.
But when I think about additional consultation, if it's needed, okay?
But under your requests, you can form a request through your vice deans and through your dean. We can think about consultation from the teachers. So it's up to you. Give us feedback. Pro education group, you can ask there, and we will analyze how many students would like to repeat or have some kind of consultation.
And what subject?
And what subject? Yeah, for sure. So write down the subject, and we will count your request. Maybe we will establish voting, yeah, to make it more easier for access. There were questions regarding books in our library. We've got books in library. You will have access to paper books, and also we had electronic classes where you can get access to online books, some of them from Indian authors, other from United States, some of them from UK, and so on. So you'll have access to information. Also, we provide information regarding the classes on our Moodle platform. So don't worry about that. We'll have sufficient amount of material. Dr. Ivanenko, I suppose we have to allow you have to go.
Заканчиваем. А ты не сказал по предметам.
And colleagues will know, because we are in the lack of time, so we will finish as soon as possible. One last question we would like to discover in our online meeting is about criteria of choice and criteria of selection of our individual educational trajectories and disciplines. I'd like to say that teachers may give us some kind of requests how many students they can teach, because laboratories can't accept all the students, all those students who want to. So we will have limitations. Also, your academics will matter, because if discipline is tough, they may say like we would like to enroll only students who have average marks in some disciplines like 4.5 and plus. So education matters also.
But
there will
present
be
subjects are free choose.
But there will be other subjects when you will be able to choose without any limitations.
Okay, so dear students, good choose for you, and
Good luck.
good luck. And
Individual educational trajectories.
yes, so
All the best.
okay,
See you online and offline. Hope to see you soon.
yes, and cifra.
Да.
Yeah, the class.